YouTube કરો છો ને?
Yes.
Jai Jinendra. Welcome to China's Das Lakshan lecture day 2. We have Manish Bhai Modi from Mumbai is going to present today's lecture, continuing with the theme he started yesterday, universal law. Manish runs the publishing house founded by his great-grandfather in 1912 and tries to keep to the family tradition of publishing excellent books at low prices. He lectures on the spiritual works of ancient Jain thinkers. He lectures in Hindi and English. He has written an e-book, Essentials of Jain Dharma, where he explains the Jain religion with the help of citation from the ancient Jain texts. He is a part of a group of Jains known as the Jain Response Group, which takes up issues related to Jainism and ensures that the Jain viewpoint is projected accurately and fairly over the media, both conventional and electronic. The Jain Response Group has played an important role in successfully tackling the government of Rajasthan's ban on Santhara. Currently translating the Jainism course by Acharya Gunratna Suri into English. This is a set of 36 books written in Gujarati. He was a film project consultant to BBC for their series called Rituals, released worldwide in 2018, and consultant to Adi and Friends, an animation film series promoting non-violence and vegetarianism. I present to you Manish Modi. Manish bhai.
Jai Jinendra. Jai Jinendra. Namo Arihantadam, Namo Siddhadam, Namo Airiyadam, Namo Uvachayadam, Namo Loe Sappasahunam. Eso Panchanamo Yaro, Sabva Pava Papanasano, Mangaladam Chasabbesan, Padmam Paim. Mangalam Bhagavan Viro, Mangalam Gautama Prabhu, Mangalam Kundu Kundadyo, Jaina Dharmostu Mangalam, Arihanta Mangalam Nityam, Siddha Jagati Mangalam, Mangalam Sadhave Sarve, Jaina Dharmostu Mangalam, Sarva Mangala Mangalyam, Sarva Kalyana Karakam, Pradhanam Sarva Dharmanam, Jainam Jaitu Shasanam, Jainam Jaitu Shasanam, Jainam Jaitu Shasanam. Namo Jananam. I thank Jaina for inviting me here, and I thank all my brothers and sisters who are here to learn and understand the teachings of Bhagwan Mahavir Swami. I began with a very simple and yet a very profound topic called universal law, which we're going to take and try to understand during this Paryushan Parv. Which takes me to a question raised by Harish Bhai yesterday. Harish Bhai, Jai Jinendra. Your question was, why call it the Paryushan Parv instead of the Das Lakshan Parv? So, well, the standard understanding of the term is Paryushan. Paryushan is when you do Pariusan, where you do penance of the Atma. You try and decrease or diminish your kashayas. And that's the Parv called Paryushan Parv. Now, this term is standard for both Digambars and Shvetambars. However, in America, yes, and sometimes in North India, also in India, Delhi side, you see that Digambar Jains use the term Das Lakshan Parv to denote the Paryushan Parv. Perfectly okay. But the standard term, whether it's a Digambar Paryushan or Shvetambar Paryushan, the 10-day Paryushan or the 8-day Paryushan, the standard term is Paryushan Parv. In fact, if you see all the Kshamavani messages sent by Digambar Jains, the preface is always Parvaraj Paryushan ki samapti par hum aapse kshama prarthi hai uttam kshama. It's always Parvaraj Paryushan Parv or Mahaparv Paryushan Parv. Very seldom will you find Parvaraj Das Lakshan Parv. And there's a reason for it. Das Lakshan to dharma ke hote hain. These are 10 aspects of dharma. They're not 10 aspects of the parva only. They're 10 aspects of dharma, eternal dharma. And those who follow those 10 aspects will attain self-realization and liberation. So those 10 aspects are eternal and they're not restricted to any one parva. While Paryushan is a specific period of time in the Jain calendar where we reiterate our commitment to Jainism and try to attain the spiritual purity that is expected of us and that will help us attain liberation. Therefore, the term Paryushan Parv makes more sense. Now, there are 2 paramparas, therefore 2 Paryushan Parvs. So, you call it the 8-day Paryushan Parva or the Shvetambar Parva or the 10-day Paryushan Parva or the Digambar Parva. But ideally, the term should be Paryushan Parva rather than Das Lakshan Parva. Of course, I believe in Anekant, so if someone's happy calling it Das Lakshan Parva, perfectly okay with me. Anyway, to start with the universal law. As I explained yesterday, the universal law is the distilled wisdom of the Tirthankars. Why do we use the word universal? Because it applies to everyone. Not just Jains, not just Hindus, not just Buddhists, not just Indians. It applies to all living beings in the entire universe. In the past, in the present, and in the future, it is universally applicable, therefore, the universal law. And why is it law? Because it operates without any kind of preference, any kind of partiality, without any kind of nepotism. It applies uniformly to everyone. Neither the Tirthankar nor the common man. No one can escape the rules of the universal law. It applies equally to all of us. All of us. There's no exception to this. You can't just say, oh, I'm a sacred person, I'm a holy person, therefore I'm a devout person. Therefore, this will not apply to me. It applies to everyone. Even the Tirthankars, it applies to Tirthankars as well, not just to you and I. It is the universal operating system applicable to all. So I will quickly run through the points that I covered yesterday and then come to the new points that I'm going to do today. It's a very good idea that we have it on screen so you can read it with me, and even when I'm not reading, so you have it in front of you. The first law is I receive what I give. What I wish for others comes back to me. This is the simplest system of all. Whatever I wish for others comes back to me. There is no escaping that fact. The bhav that I keep towards others is going to come back to me because the bhav that I have now will continue with me. And the consequences thereof, I will have to bear. There is no third person. I am the soul. I am the bearer of consequences. I am the doer of karmas. The path of liberation is there, and I can walk that path. It's very clear. So I receive what I give. What I wish for others comes back to me. Secondly, I am the soul. This body is a role that I have been given. Generally, we get the role that we had hankered after. Now imagine wanting something today. Today I say, oh, I would love to be the President of America. I'd love to be the Prime Minister of India, the Prime Minister of UK, like Mr. Rishi Sunak. Be careful what you ask for. You might just become that. And then you may realize that this is not exactly what you wanted. but because you were hankering after it and you had the punya, so you became that. The third rule is whatever is happening to me is a mirror of my past. It is a reflection of my past deeds. What I have not done or not caused or supported to be done through acts of mind, speech, and body shall never happen to me. Never. Therefore, no injustice is done to me, either at present, in the past, or in the future. By realizing this, I remain firmly in the no complaint zone. Whatever has caused me pain is a result of my past actions. It has nothing to do with others. So there is no question of blaming others. Hence, the why me question does not arise. Now, if I have bad karma and the consequences are coming into fruition, then that's how it's going to be. It's like someone sends you a legal notice and you get the notice. Now you have to take action against the person who sent you the notice, not against the postman who got you the notice. What's the postman's fault? He's done nothing. He's merely the messenger. Therefore, when we perceive someone as being the guy who's harmed me, the guy who's hurt me, he's not really hurt me. He is merely the person who is the messenger. And as they say, don't shoot the messenger. In fact, the messenger is teaching you a valuable lesson. If you can consider him to be upkari, then you're on the right track. Like Gat Sukumal Muni, who, when a wolf was devouring him, he realized that this wolf was his bhabi in his past life. And she was ridding him of his karmas. So he considered her to be upkari. With 3 days of Muni Diksha, he attained moksha. So, don't blame others. The why me question should never be on your mind. I create good luck by doing punya. And I create bad luck by doing pap. Now, what are the papas as we understand them? As Jains, the Tirthankars have taught us that indulging in the Sapta Vyasana, the 7 vices, that is gambling, consuming alcohol, consuming non-vegetarian food, visiting prostitutes, stealing, hunting, and indulging in adultery, infidelity. These are the 7 vyasanas. On top of that, consuming tobacco in any form, which means any kind of drugs, psychotropic substances, eating after sunset, eating honey, root vegetables, pickles, figs, butter, etc. All of these are papas. When we indulge in these papas, we are ensuring pain. We are booking pain for ourselves. You have to bear in mind that punya equals to gain and pap equals to pain. Reflect on this. I shall learn to gain from pain. Like Gatsukumal Muni, like Bhagwan Parshvanath, we have to learn to gain from pain. There will be people who are here to harm us. That's okay. We will gain from pain by understanding that they are our upkari people. They are helping us by shedding our karmas. As I explained yesterday, you have a servant who's not your servant. They come, you're not paying them, and they just come over and they said, excuse me, can I clean your house? And they clean your house beautifully. And they don't accept any money. What are you going to say? Thank you. So anyone who's harming you is helping you get rid of your karmas. Therefore, he is upkari. You thank them. I'm here to give unconditionally without any expectations. By giving, I'm either repaying my old debts or creating new deposits. I benefit in both cases. Now, I'm here to give. The moment you understand that you're here to give, there's no conflict. Conflict happens when I want and you want the same thing. When I'm saying that I'm here to give, and I give with both hands, without setting any conditions to my generosity, then there'll be no conflict. So give. You're either repaying an old debt or you're creating a new deposit. In either case, you will benefit. So keep this in mind always, that I'm here to give, and I shall give
That's this.
without any expectations, without any conditions. Normally the way we say is, you do this for me and I will do that for you. Tit for tat. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's not what this is about. This is about giving unconditionally. Like the Tirthankar's Karuna. The Tirthankar gives sermons in the Samosharan unconditionally. Whether we follow those sermons or not, whether we agree with them or not, whether we understand them or not, the Tirthankar has given us the truest, purest, and most profound, most perfect path. It is up to us to follow it, or we ignore it at our peril. The Tirthankar has given it without any conditions whatsoever. I have to perform my duty to the best of my ability without expecting others to do their best. Why? Because that is the doorway to clash, to fighting, to grief. I did my best and he did not. Perhaps his definition of best is different from yours. Perhaps he was suffering from something. He had some internal problem. Perhaps he had a problem at home. Perhaps he's not interested in the job. Someone is forcing him to do the job. In any case, we cannot and should not expect others to do their best. We have to do our best. We all have to fulfill our duty towards family, friends, colleagues, society, country, and humanity. What are our duties towards family? To love and take care of our family members, whether they are our parents, our spouse, our children, our brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, aunts. We have such a large family unit. Kaka and Masa and Chacha and Mama and Bua and Fufa. Here, I have to do the best that I can for all of them. I have to fulfill my duty towards all of them, whether they're my family or my friends or my colleagues at work, colleagues in the office, colleagues wherever I am, wherever I'm connected, for all the members of my society. Every member of my society deserves my help, deserves my compassion, deserves my love, deserves my understanding. If I don't give it to him, I'm not doing my duty. My duty towards my country. All of us are responsible to the country we reside in. I live in India, I'm responsible, answerable to my country. You live in America, you're answerable to your country. The concept here is called Muhibbe Watan, love for the nation. All of us must love our nation and serve it in the best way we can. Not all of us need to be in the army, you don't have to join the army. But by being an honest, sincere citizen, by paying my taxes honestly, by obeying the laws of the land correctly in letter and in spirit, I am doing my duty towards my country, my duty towards humanity, by not spreading violence, by making sure there's non-violence in this world, by making sure that I'm not harming the environment, by making sure that I'm not part of any war effort, by making sure that I don't get into fights with people, by making sure that I run a profession. I'm part of a profession that does not harm the nation, the country, the world, Mother Earth, the ecology, the environment. I need to do these things because it's part of my duty towards humanity. I have to be strict with myself.
No.
I cannot expect others to have the priorities that I have. Therefore, I have to be strict with myself and set high standards for myself and not expect them from others. Because everyone has a different perception, a different approach,
अनाउंस करूं जो इनके जो इच्छा है हो तो जन
level of maturity. Everyone has a different approach, a different level of maturity, a different understanding, different values, different priorities. So just because I know and I subscribe to the universal law and I believe in the universal law does not mean other people do the same thing.
Some
So I have
ऊपर नाखे दो मत
केचप માંથી પાણી જેવું નીકળ્યું તો એ સારું કહેવાય કે નહીં કહેવાય
all that means is old.
કેચપ જ ત્યારનો છે It's not
request the
લાઈવા
gentleman
તારે
to mute his mic.
એવું હતું
Thank you.
ચટણી પણ કેટલી બધી વધેલી હતી
Dhimen Bhai, would you request the gentleman to mute his mic?
I did it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. So I have to perform my duty to the best of my ability without expecting others to do their best. We all have to fulfill our duty towards family, friends, colleagues, society, country, and humanity. This is part of my duty. As a Jain, as a human being, I have certain duties and I have to fulfill them. I have to be strict with myself. I have to be lenient with others. And I have to understand that whatever happens, happens for good. Believing in this brings super positivity. Here, you remember this, most of us have grown up with this story, especially if you're born and raised in India. There is a story of the king and his minister. And, the minister is very deeply religious. And the king is like, he asks questions, he understands a few things, and he doesn't understand a few things. He's a king. He's a law unto himself. But once it so happened that the king was defeated in war, and some aliens took him away. And they said, we will perform a human sacrifice on this person. And when they decide to do that, they examine him because they believe that this is belief actually in many religions, that if you're going to sacrifice anything towards your idea of who is God, the sacrificial object should be perfect in every which way. Now, the king in an earlier time had lost one finger during a mishap in the forest. And he'd become really annoyed, and his minister said, that king, oh Lord, whatever happens, happens for good. And the king was extremely upset with him. How dare you say that? I lost my finger in the forest because I was through a hunting accident, and you say that this is good? Nothing good can come out of this. This is rubbish. And yet, a few days later, he's conquered by an army. Aliens take him away. They're taking him somewhere to kill him, to perform a human sacrifice. And then they see that his finger is missing. They say, hey, this guy is not perfect. He's not good enough to be sacrificed. And they'll let him go. His life is saved. Well, whatever happens, happens for good. Had that not been the case, he would have lost his life. So whatever happens, happens for good. Believing this brings super positivity. You have to believe this. And you find that life will right itself. Life has a way of teaching you lessons. You learn that lesson, say thank you, and you move on. Don't cling to past failures. don't cling to past successes. Neither success nor failure is permanent. Only the soul is permanent. And we are not the body, we are the soul. Who are we? We are the soul. When we talk of all the kriyas of dharma, we talk of all the objectives of dharma, the one final goal is to know yourself and be yourself. Samyak darshan means self-realization, experiencing the self. Who is the self? The simplest example I can give you is when you drive a car, you're looking through that mirror, right? The front mirror of your car. But is the mirror looking or are you looking? The windscreen of your car. Now, you're looking at the road in front of you through the windscreen, right? But it's you that's looking, not the windscreen. Because when you leave the car and there's no one in the car in the driver's seat, the windscreen cannot see anything. It's you, when you're in the car, in the driver's seat, that you can see through the windscreen. Similarly, when we say the eyes see, the eyes don't see. It's the soul inside the body, which is Eka Kshetravagahi. It's the soul that sees, not the eyes. Because you may have perfectly nice, perfectly working eyes, and the moment you die, those eyes are unable to see. In fact, you know that they are perfectly good because I think within 3 or 4 hours, if you take out your eyes, even a dead body's eyes, within 3-4 hours of the death, you can give those eyes to another person, he can start seeing. Therefore, the eyes are perfectly okay. Well, that means that it's not the eyes that see, it's the person, the soul behind the eyes that sees. So I am that soul. Everything else that is happening to me is things that I have chosen to happen and things that I have caused to happen through my own karmas of mind, speech, and body. Now I am here in this world. I am here and things are happening to me that are beyond my control. Therefore, how do I react to them? I have to deal with people in 4 ways, as per Tirthankars, and in 4 ways alone. These 4 ways are known as the 4 bhavnas. First bhavna, there's a beautiful shlok if you want to remember. Satveshu maitrim gunishu pramodam Klishteshu jiveshu kripa paratvam madhyastha bhavam viparita vrittav sada mamatma vidadhatu deva. Satveshu maitri gunishu pramod Klishteshu jiveshu kripa paratvam madhyastha bhavam viparita vrittav sada mamatma. Oh God, let me always have these bhavnas within me. The first bhavna is Maitri. Maitri means universal friendship. Now, when you feel friendship towards everyone, towards the entire universe, there will be no irritation, no jealousy, no envy, no anger. And when there's no enmity, then there's no sorrow, no grief. Then you're happy for everyone. Huh? Wanting the welfare of others ensures my own welfare. It's as simple as that. Second bhavna is pramod, admiration. It's also delight. Pramodit hona, to be delighted in the good qualities of others. I shall imbibe others' virtues by admiring them. Truly, what you see and admire you will imbibe. You see bad qualities and admire them, you will imbibe those bad qualities. You see good qualities and admire them, you will imbibe good qualities. So be careful what you admire. Karuna, compassion. Compassion for sinners because they are unaware of the universal. If someone doesn't know something, how can you hold him responsible for it? So have compassion. And fourth is madhyasthya. Indifference or no response. When someone hurts me, I shall stay calm, keep quiet, and contemplate upon the universal law. I shall contemplate upon thank you, welcome inside my heart. This protects my happiness. It is in fact a shield for my happiness. How does this work? If someone is harming you, think of him as being upkari. That's how it works. When you realize that he's helping you, why will you feel anger towards him? Anger will only come when you think he's harming you, right? But when you know that he is doing only as per your own karmas, then he's not harming you, he's helping you rid those karmas. Therefore, he's your upkari. So thank him. This is by itself a mental process. You have to do it understandingly, and you have to do it knowing that this is the only way to attain peace. This is the only way to get rid of your karmas. Otherwise, anger begets more anger. The more anger you feel, the more anguish you feel, the more frustration you feel. You will never ever get rid of it because it's an endless, it's a kashaya, it's endless. It will never end. You will never be happy. And mind you, you're being angry at another person who will also respond to your anger, which means that there will never ever be an end to this. We know of Bhagwan Parshvanath and Kamatha, right? Now, Kamatha was the Nanaji, Bhagwan Parshvanath's mother's father. And he thought himself to be a great yogi, a great tapasvi. And he carried out all kinds of tapasyas because he thought that by harming and hurting the body and causing difficulties to the body, he would attain liberation. He was not aware of the path of Samyak Darshan. Samyak Tap is only possible when you have Samyak Darshan. Without Samyak Darshan, your Gyan will not be Samyak. Without Samyak Darshan, your Charit will not be Samyak. And without Samyak Darshan, your Tap will not be Samyak. So he was carrying out various tapas and not helping his soul. Now Bhagwan Parshvanath, Tirthankar Parshvanath, even before he had taken Diksha, as a young person, he was born with 3 Gyans. Mati Gyan, Shruti Gyan, and Avdi Gyan. So when he saw his Nanaji, Kamatha, who was practicing penance by lighting fires around him and standing in between those fires. He told his Nanaji, please stop lighting this fire. And Kamatha was annoyed. He said, why? How dare you disturb my tapa? And Bhagwan Parshvanath says, Nanaji, please stop. He says, how dare you? How rude of you. Instead of helping me in my tapasya, you're disturbing me. Get lost. And Bhagwan Parshvanath beseeches him, please stop. Kamatha refuses to listen. Bhagwan Parshvanath pulls out a burning log. Inside the log, there are 2 snakes. A male snake and a female snake. They are being burnt alive. Bhagwan Parshvanath pulls them out, lays them down gently on the ground. He knows that they're about to die. they've been burnt too badly. He recites the Namokar mantra to them. Their souls attain a sense of compassion, a sense of quietude. And this benevolent act of Bhagwan Parshvanath ensures that the snake couple are reborn as celestial beings called Dharmendra and Padmavati. Bhagwan Parshvanath has helped them. They in turn help Bhagwan Parshvanath when Bhagwan Parshvanath himself is in tapasya and his Nanaji Kamat comes that you disturb my tapasya, I'm going to disturb your tapasya. And there are other people who are coming, there are other celestial beings who are coming and disturbing Bhagwan Parshvanath's tapasya. And they cause floods. Bhagwan Parshvanath is under a tree doing his tapasya. The floods would have killed him. So what happens? Lo and behold, Dharmendra and Padmavati come back. One holds him above the ground. The other brings a canopy on top of his head. In this manner, they stop him from the stormy rains and they help him, they stop him from drowning. They keep him above the water. Now, this is being done by Dharmendra and Padmavati because they are paying back. They're paying it forward. And what happens to Kamatha? Kamatha dies in anger and in hatred and in agony. He dies, he's reborn as a celestial being. Once again, he harasses Bhagwan Parshvanath. So Bhagwan Parshvanath is complete by himself. His sadhana is perfect. He's totally immersed in himself. Dharmendra and Padmavati rescue him from the flood water and the stormy weather. So Bhagwan Parshvanath attains Keval Gyan. He attains moksha, and Kamatha keeps taking birth and keeps dying, and he's rotting in hell because of his anger and his desire for enmity and revenge and hatred. What does this teach us? We have to stay away from anger and hatred and practice Maitri Bhav with every single human being we come across, with every living being we come across, not just human beings, every living being. You see, Jain sadhus and sadhvijis, they don't bathe. They use the least possible amount of water because they realize that each drop of water contains ananta jeev, uncountable jivas, and they have Maitri Bhav towards all living beings. Therefore, they minimize the usage of water and they try and ensure that in their entire lifestyle, that entire life that they lead has the least minimum possible amount of violence. So practice the Maitri Bhav by making sure you're not harming any living being and genuinely feeling love and compassion towards all living beings. No matter how they may behave towards you, and no matter how annoying they can be at times, you realize that all of this is happening because of your own karmas. If someone does things that you don't like, it is because of your own karmas. Not because of something they chose, not because of something they want to do to you. It is happening because of your own karmas. They are merely your postman. Don't blame the postman. Don't kill the messenger. Maitri Bhav, as a rule, has to be without any vested interest. You cannot have Maitri Bhav with some kind of vested interest. You don't make friends to get something out of people, to get work done. That's not Maitri. That's not universal friendship. We have to develop and inculcate within ourselves the disposition of universal friendship. I want to be everyone's Kalyan Mitra. Who's a Kalyan Mitra? A Kalyan Mitra is one who is not only your friend, he is there to help you attain the highest truths, to help you attain the highest goal, which is liberation. If I am your Kalyan Mitra, I must want you also to attain the highest form of happiness, moksha, eternal bliss, that I seek for myself. If I don't seek bliss, eternal bliss, then I'm not capable of being a Kalyan Mitra. And if I seek eternal bliss for myself, I must also seek eternal bliss for all my friends. Only then will I become their Kalyan Mitra. And what is the greatest Kalyan that we can attain ourselves and attain for others and wish for others? It is the font of eternal happiness, moksha. And when I become your Kalyan Mitra, how can I ever want you to be unhappy? How can I ever be your enemy? And how could I even be jealous of you? If you're my friend, I can never be jealous of you. I can be proud of you. I can be happy for you. I can't be jealous of you. Whenever we feel enmity or anger or hatred, it's like holding a burning coal in your hands, That coal is going to burn your hand first. Not the recipient of your anger. You are going to burn first. How smart is that? I dislike Mr. X and therefore I'm punishing myself. Why would you do that? And we all know that no matter what harm I may want someone else to suffer from, he will suffer or enjoy the consequences of his karmas, not mine. Therefore, if I desire bad things for him, I'm binding further bad karmas to myself, not helping myself in any way. And certainly I'm incapable of harming anyone else. Whatever will happen to me, to him, is a subject of his karmas, not a subject of my desire. Therefore, when I wish someone harm, I'm binding bad karmas and perpetuating my own stay in sansar. Now, who wants to stay in sansar? Sansar is full of sorrow. The wise person wants to go away from sansar, not stay in sansar. When we hate someone, we can't stand their success. It pains you each time. Every time you see them happy and smiling, it pains you. This creates stress on yourselves, on your emotions, on your body. Not only that, it's a mood killer. It destroys your happiness, You see someone you dislike looking happy, pleased with themselves, like, oh God, what's happening? And the worst thing is when you hate someone, you're binding karmas. You're binding karmas that will come back and bite you again and again and again. Therefore, if you're smart, you will develop a feeling of friendship towards all living beings. All living beings, no exceptions. However misguided they may seem, however foolish they may seem, however they may annoy you, you have to develop a sense of universal friendship. And trust me, even the Tirthankars, Bhagwan Parshvanath knew that Kamat had hurt him. He never chose to, hurt Kamat. He chose to forgive him, to thank him, and move on. That is why he attained Keval Gyan. That is why he attained Moksha. So all the Tirthankars and all the Kevalis, all of those who have attained Moksha, all of those who have attained Keval Gyan, have practiced the bhavana of Maitri with all living beings. Without that Maitri bhav, they will not attain liberation. They will not attain self-realization. They will not attain omniscience. Therefore, if you seek the path of self-realization, start practicing Maitri towards all. You must do that. Or you suffer the ignominy and the pain and the anguish of hatred, of fear, of envy. And none of these are positive emotions. They will harm you. They will make you feel wretched. Now, why would we want to do that to ourselves? When I wake up in the morning, do I want to feel happy? Do I want to feel wretched? If I want to feel happy, I must develop friendship with all living beings. All living beings, wherever they are in the universe, are my friends. Mitti me sab bhuesu, deram majjam nakinai. I would now request all of you, if there's any question you have, I'd be happy to clarify those questions. Dilip bhai, whoever has questions, please feel free to ask me, and I'm happy to answer your questions. If there are no questions, I can elaborate further on Maitri Bhav. And if there are questions, I'm happy to answer you. So please let me know if there are any questions. Questions? Okay. More on the Maitri Bhav. Maitri Bhav is the one thing that will ensure calm and peaceful existence. All the stress that we suffer usually comes from the feeling that someone else got an opportunity that I did not. Someone else is enjoying things that I deserved. Someone else got the break that I should have gotten. Someone else is enjoying the luck that I should have got. You naturally feel this when it's a stranger. But what if it's a best friend? Then you're going to say, all right, ghar ka aadmi yaar, chalo, if not me, it's my best friend. He got it, so it's good. It's all good, man. Ghar ki baat hai. It remains in the family. That's the beauty of Maitri Bhav. So when you feel Maitri Bhav, universal friendship towards all living beings, you will never go through the pangs of envy. Never. You'll be happy for everyone because everyone is your best friend. Therefore, you're happy for everyone. It's like, when you're sitting with your family and you have 2 or 3 brothers and sisters, you're all eating. And you're eating the sweets, eating the laddu, rasgulla, whatever. And you don't mind if someone else had an extra rasgulla because they're all your family, your closest, most immediate family. Because you have Maitri Bhav towards them. The same Maitri Bhav when you feel towards everyone in the universe, you will never feel unhappiness. It's all good. It's all coming to someone in the family. It stays in the family. It stays with your friends. And therefore, no anger, no resentment, no hatred towards anyone. You're happy. And the greatest goal of any form of sadhana is happiness. There's this book we published some years ago called The Lost Art of Happiness. It's by an American writer, Arthur Dobrin. And there he dwells on what is the true cause of happiness. And he comes with 2 answers. Santosha paramam sukham. The first answer is contentment. The second is friendship. When you have friendship with everyone, you're going to be happy. Then you're not going to say, uski thali mein zyada ghee gaya, meri thali mein kam ghee aaya. You're happy. Kisi ki thali mein ghee gaya, it's good. It's all good, man. If you have more ghee in your thali, good for you. If you have more ghee in someone else's thali and less in yours, you're happy. Hey, great, man. He got it. He's my best friend. Let him get it. It's okay. That friendship, that happiness is the goal of our life. And whenever we are here in this world, every single day, the one thing when we wake up in the morning is we seek happiness, we seek success, we seek friendship, we seek acceptance. And all of this, why? Because we want to be happy. If happiness was not the goal, why would people run after so many material objects, working so hard, seeking so much. It's only because of happiness, right? Because they seek happiness. And when you realize that happiness comes from universal friendship, happiness becomes very easy, very accessible to everyone. You see someone, when you open the newspaper, you see that someone's attained success, someone's won a contract, someone's doing well. You feel happy for that person. That's the way. Our Tirthankars have always taught us that what you seek for others comes back to you. You come back to the first universal law. I receive what I give. What I wish for others comes back to me. So if you're friends with everyone, if you want everyone to be happy, you will gain happiness. And if you want others to suffer and be miserable and not get the opportunities, that's what you're going to get. Is that what you want? If that's not what you want, then you must practice friendship. I see a question here. Someone is asking me, did Mahavir exist? Well, yes, Mahavir did exist. And there is plenty of evidence that he existed. In fact, as per modern historians, the first Mahapurush of India, historically validated and accepted, is Bhagwan Mahavir. He's the first. All the others, we have faith that they existed, but not incontrovertible evidence. So yes, Mahavir did exist, and his teachings do exist even today, and they will exist forever. As long as we are alive, the teachings of Mahavir shall exist, and they shall provide us succor and happiness, and they have shown us the path of liberation. So yes, Mahavir existed, and he exists in all our hearts. He will exist forever. Any other questions? Any other feedback? If not, I will go on to the second point, which is Pramod Bhav. Pramod is admiration for qualities. Pramod is delighting in the good qualities of others. I'll give you, okay, I just saw another question. What is proof? I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this. I don't know how to see chat messages very accurately. So I apologize for my delayed responses to your questions. Now you're asking me, what is the proof of Bhagwan Mahavir's existence? All historians anywhere in the world are unequivocal in accepting the truth of Mahavir's existence. So we have our scriptures telling us that Bhagwan Mahavir existed, and we have modern historians and academicians telling us that Mahavir existed. There's plenty of evidence there. You pick up any book of history that will give you evidence that Bhagwan Mahavir existed. He was born in 599 BCE and he attained Nirvana in 527 BCE. There's plenty of evidence for this. There's absolutely no doubt about the existence of Bhagwan Mahavir. And Bhagwan Buddha was 30 years his junior. So there's plenty of evidence for Bhagwan Buddha's existence as well. There's no lack of evidence here. So rest assured, Mahavir did exist, and his teachings live within us. Those of us who realize those teachings will attain Samyak Darshan and eventually attain moksha. Those of us who don't realize those teachings are losing a wonderful opportunity. And then I will have to remind all of ourselves, myself especially, that there are only two options in this world. Only two final resting places for the soul. One is moksha and the other is nigodha. So if we practice the teachings of Bhagwan Mahavir, we will attain moksha. If we fail to practice the teachings of Bhagavan Mahavir, we are stuck with Nigodh. And we know what Nigodh is, right? Nigodh is the lowest possible manifestation of human life. It's the worst possible form of existence. It is a state of constant sorrow, constant pain, the most intense pain possible. So horrible is existence in Nigodh that even existence in the seventh hell is preferable to existence in Nigodh. Therefore, we have to practice the teachings of Bhagavan Mahavir, else, because if there is no moksha, there's only Nigodh. The default setting of the soul is Nigodh. If you don't attain moksha, the soul will slide back into Nigodh. Therefore, every opportunity we have, this opportunity that we have being born as Jains, we have to use it to make sure we take further steps on the path of moksha. The first, most important step for moksha is to attain Samyak Darshan. You do that, and within a few births, even if you attain Samyak Darshan briefly, within a few births, you will attain liberation. So focus on Samyak Darshan, and you are ensuring eternal happiness for yourself forever, ever, forever. And if you choose to ignore the path of moksha, then Nigodh is waiting for you. There's this very elaborate shloka that describes the agonies of Nigodh. It says, Ek shwas mein 8-10 baar. The Jiva in Nigodh has such a short lifespan that he is born and he dies 18 times within the space it takes to draw one breath. And all of the 18 times, he experiences fully and manifestly the agony of birth and the agony of death, which are both extremely, extremely painful. So painful are these things that it's impossible to adequately describe the agony of birth and death. All they say in the Shastras is that, we have, in our bodies, we have 3.5 crore hair follicles. Now imagine if that those 3.5 crore hair follicles were pulled apart at one time and hot oil were poured over you. What would that feel like? Imagine this happening 36 times in the span of your breath. What could be more painful? And that, let me assure you, is the fate of all those who do not attain moksha. Because that's where samsara leads you eventually. 5 sense beings, say, go to 4 sense, to 3 sense, 2 sense, 1 sense, born in hell, lowered the hells, first hell, second hell, third hell, fourth hell, fifth hell, sixth hell, seventh hell, and then what? The worst of all, Nigodh. Or maybe you don't go to descend to those hells, but your lifespan outside of Nigodh is only 2000 Sagarupam. So you go back. Your time is exhausted, time up. You go back into Nigodh. If you've not attained Samyak Darshan, there are no hopes for you. Therefore, Samyak Darshan is the path and moksha is the goal. If we are not on this path, we don't have the goal of moksha, then we are in big trouble. There's enough time. You have the teachings of Bhagavan Mahavir. Focus on them. And we can all attain self-realization in this birth itself. And that is our visa for moksha. You need a visa to come to America, which is difficult to get. Similarly, you need a visa to attain moksha, which is extremely difficult. And that visa, my friends, is Samyak Darshan. So let's focus on that. And I leave you with this. Let's focus on Samyak Darshan I'll take more on this on the 4 bhavnas tomorrow. And feel free if you think of any questions, just ask me. I'm happy to help you. Feel free anytime during my lecture. If there's a question, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer you. That's all for today. Jai Jinendra, Jai Mahavir, Namo Jananam. Thank you and Jai Jinendra.